Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to page 28 for two kinds or concept vocabulary. So, our first section is why these words, and it says these concept vocabulary words relate to the idea of conflict. For example, the narrator fantasizes that she might one day be beyond reproach. The word reproach describes the heavy criticism that she feels as a result of her mother's actions. Question one says to select three of the concept vocabulary words and explain how each word helps the reader better understand the conflict between the mother and her daughter. So for number one, I put the narrator thinks that her mother lamented her bad haircut. The word discordant describes the type of hymns the narrator learns to play, and devastated describes how the narrator feels when she sees her mother's expression after the performance. Question number two. What other words in the selection connect to the concept or conflict in the struggle? So the first word that I chose is willful, and willful occurs in paragraph 19. The reason that I chose willful is that the narrator talks about how the girl and I were the same. I had new thoughts, willful thoughts, or rather thoughts filled with lots of wants. So this is when her mind starts to go to she's going to do her own thing. She is not going to wait and or constantly do what her mother is telling her to do. The next word is wind, and wind occurs in paragraph 31. I whined and then kicked my foot a little when I couldn't stand it anymore. Um, and this is going to show that she is now at her breaking point. So that's why I chose the word wind. And the last one is going to be paragraph 48. And in paragraph 48, I choose the word foolish. It says, and right then I was determined to put a stop to her foolish pride. So she thinks that her mother's pride in her is foolish, is ridiculous, because she doesn't think that she's good enough or able to live up to those expectations. Now let's look at the practice part. For the practice, it says the concept vocabulary words appear in two kinds. Answer the questions using a vocabulary word to show your understanding. Number one, why might a person who experiences indignity feel upset or angry? And I put a person who experiences indignity feels humiliation, shame, or embarrassment. These feelings often lead to anger. For number two, why might a famous chef feel that his or her cooking is beyond reproach? I put a celebrity chef is someone who has received a great deal of approval for his or her cooking. This can lead him or her to feel beyond reproach. For number three, all right, so let's look at number three. Question number three says, what might someone's neighbors complain about? Discordant music coming from a stereo. Your answer here is that the neighbors might complain about loud, discordant music because it could interfere with their ability to sleep. Number four, what advice can you give to help them avoid squabbling with each other? To help people avoid squabbling, I would encourage them to take turns listening to each other. Number five, if a student lamented after taking a test, how did the student do? So if a student lamented after taking a test, the test probably did not go well. Number six, what kind of weather might have devastated an apple orchard? Your answer here is a tornado might have devastated or destroyed the apple orchard. Then we have our next section. Our next section is considered word study. And for word study, this is where we're going to look at Greek and Latin prefixes and suffixes or root words. So here we have the prefix "n" means not. When the prefix "n" is added to a base word, the new word takes on the opposite meaning for the original word. Practice your knowledge on this prefix by completing the following activities. When people have dignity, they are worthy of honor and respect. Write a definition of the word indignity based on your knowledge of the prefix "n." So remember, "n" means not and dignity means honor of worthy or respect. So my definition is indignity means something that hurts a person's dignity. And then number two says define words that contain the prefix "n", such as incorrect, inactive, and incomplete. So incorrect means not correct or wrong. Inactive means not active or working. And incomplete means not complete or unfinished. I hope this helps give you a better understanding of page 28 and our concept vocabulary for our story, Two Kinds.